Hi, this is Erik Lofholm. I want to welcome all of you to our weekly Ultimate Coach show. And this is where we have a special guest that joins me each week. And then our people that are on Zoom, they have a chance to be in the show with us around the midway point. And I have Judy Thureson with me as my special guest today. And Judy, you are a special part of the Ultimate Coach story. And you are instrumental with the Ultimate Experience event, which I and so many people attended. And we have now the Ultimate Experience is happening in the UK, and who else knows where else it's going to be. Why don't you start off and give us a proper introduction of yourself? A lot of the people in the group know who you are, but there may be a few that don't. So tell us a little bit about yourself so we can get to know you.
Great. Well, thank you guys for being here. My name's Judy Thureson, and my introduction to Steve is actually through Rich Litvin. I was in a program with Rich last year, and when I heard that Steve was on Facebook and really active on Facebook, I started, lurking and checking out and stalking him in a very nice way. And then I found out he was giving away a manuscript for his book, which is now the Ultimate Coach book. And at the time, it was just a manuscript, and he was giving it away to 500 people on his birthday. Whoever messaged him, he was going to give them a manuscript. And I remember feeling just so small, because I thought, oh my gosh, who am I amongst all these amazing coaches? And I couldn't even write him an email. It literally took me 3 times messaging him, and then I would delete it and walk away. And then finally on the third one, I said, I'm just going to press send. And I asked for a manuscript, and lo and behold, he responded right away and asked if I was going to agree to read it about me and then delete it in 30 days. And I said, absolutely. And I did that and changed my life. I read it in like 3 days. And I just knew it was really, really special. Fast forward a little bit, Steve hosted a chance to ride with him to California from Arizona, which is now affectionately called the Six Pack. There were 6 of us, and I was chosen to ride with him. Oh, I see Alyssa. I was one of the 6 chosen to ride with him. So I got to spend like a good 10 hours in the car with Steve and really experience this book in 3D. And so when I read the book, I read it from this lens of somebody who didn't know Steve. And in those 10 hours of being with him, I thought, wow, the book doesn't even do him justice. You know what I mean? Like, his being is even greater than what the book communicates. And so I just thought, wow, that was this miraculous experience I got to have with Steve. And I thought that was the end of it. Fast forward after that, I just knew there's a big story. And if you really want the details, go back on the archives in the Facebook group, because I share in detail how it all happens. But basically, I asked Steve if he would speak at an event to launch his book. And, everybody knows that Steve doesn't do those kinds of things. So it was a big ask. And again, I almost chickened out. The day that I was going to do it on a Monday, I remember I said between 11 and 1, I told 3 people so they would hold me accountable. I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to have integrity. I'm going to ask Steve. And then Monday came and went, and I chickened out. And I didn't do it. And then I talked myself out of it, right? Isn't that something we're all learning, is that instant action is what kills fear. And if you are still enough to think about it, we can often talk ourselves out of it. And so I don't know what happened, but Steve that evening sent me a video of Townsend Wardlaw. And all it said, there was no framing or no introduction. It was just a video of Townsend. And I played it, and Townsend says, have you ever wanted to do something in your life so big, but then got afraid? I thought, how does Steve know I need this video right now? And it was just surreal. And I just knew that was a sign that I needed to ask him. And right then and there, before I could even think about it, I just, shot him a message. And I said, I have a big big ask and I have a big question for you. Are you available? And he says, I'm free right now. Call me. And so we had a conversation and he said yes, right? My claim to fame now is he said no to Oprah, but he said yes to me. So, but that's a little bit of kind of how I got to be part of this group. And as you all know, the Ultimate Experience was definitely an incredible experience. And I was talking to Louisa this morning, and we had this great conversation. And every week I still get messages from people saying how that event transformed their lives. People changed countries because of this event. People met, loves of their lives at this event. I mean, there's many connections that happen, and people are calling me, thanking me. And I was having a really hard time receiving that because I honestly felt just like a conduit, like a vessel in which this event came through me. Like I was just the vessel in it. And so it's hard to accept the acknowledgement because I feel like I didn't really do anything. All I did was ask and open my mouth. I mean, we all know it definitely took hard work, but all the people that are here, so many people contributed, the Fantastic Four with Alex and Julie and Xavier and our coach, Philip Weech. And so all the speakers, and it was just so amazing. And talking to the UK team, I feel like I'm reliving it all over again and just seeing it through their eyes and their excitement and seeing the growth that's happening before the event even started, So yeah, it's very, very exciting.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of incredible things that happened out of that event. And there was a couple of things which I might have shared with you about, and I might not have, but I just want to bring it up now because it did have a profound personal impact on me. And my dad and I, we had barely spoken for the 3 years previous to that event. We were not on speaking terms, and there were some situations that happened which don't really matter, but just we weren't on speaking terms. And I felt compelled to invite him to come to the event. And part of that was the event created a platform for people to speak, and you provided me an opportunity to speak, which I was grateful for. And so I asked my dad if he wanted to come to the event that I'd be speaking, and I offered to fly him out because he lives in California, and he accepted. And what was really amazing is I got there early because I was insistent on staffing the event because I wanted to serve. So I was there early to do that. And my dad was there with me. So I walked in the room, and all these people knew me because I run the Facebook group, but we'd never met before, all these people, right? But my dad saw me in a different way than he'd ever seen me before. And so that was really, really special. And then my children, I had about 4 kids with me at the event. And although I'm a speaker, they've never all 4 been at an event where I spoke at before. So there was some really special things that impacted me on a personal level. And I know I'm speaking for all 300 and the 1,000 on the virtual. I mean, there's so many people that you positively impacted through your courage. So what I want to talk to you about now, what did you learn going through the process? You took on, you made a promise to Steve, we're going to have 200-300 people in the room, which you delivered on that. What were some of the things that you learned, and how did you have to shift your being in order to pull all that off?
Yeah, I think because it happened so quickly, I didn't have the luxury to be fearful or doubt or, can I do this? Because time was a ticking and we had to make things happen. And so when Steve said, who do you need to be to have 200 people in the room? I was focused on the number. Like, what do we need to do to get people in the room? But really the question now in hindsight is, who did I have to be as a person? What kind of being did I have to be bold, to be a leader, to be, really present, and to be firm? This kind of event, I mean, this is not just an event just for Steve, but the people at this event. We're talking the best coaches in the world were at this event. People were flying in from all over the world. And, if I would have really thought about it, it would have been easy to be intimidated and insecure and feel like, oh my gosh, who am I and why am I doing this? But we didn't have the luxury of that time. And so it forced me to level up and grow into this person who was leading this event. And I love that Steve empowered me. He, would text me and call me and voice message me and remind me and create me. So it wasn't even you are a leader or you are the leader. At the end, it was like caveman talk. It was just you leader. And that was his thing, you leader, and I think, isn't that the beauty when we create each other, is we step into that being. And I see it all over the place in our group. Lindsay's a pro at this, and just so many people that when we acknowledge, we really create them to step into that. And so that's the biggest thing, is really seeing that, wow, I was able to do that because I was called to step into that, and I rose to the occasion. And something I'm really proud of, because if you would have asked me even a year ago, could I have done that? I'm like, nope, choose someone else. I'm not doing it. But it stretches you, right? And it shows you what we're made of and what's inside of us. And I think that's the beauty of this book. That's the beauty of who Steve is and how he coaches. He shows people, wow, there's so much more inside of you than what we can see.
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing to go from not feeling that you were deserving to get the PDF copy of the book to leading. I've been in the training industry since the 90s. I've put on many events. I've participated in many events. I've spoken at many events. I mean, it was truly a world-class event, and real transformation happened. I mean, it was a very powerful event, and it's pretty amazing to go from, I'm not deserving of this PDF, to now not only leading it, but like not only pulling it off, just using a baseball metaphor, hitting a grand slam. Anything you observed when the event was done and you look back, were there any big ahas for you or shifts that you noticed in yourself?
Absolutely. It's very common for high performing people, when they hit a big goal or they accomplish something big, it's hard to just sit in that and experience it and say, wow, that was amazing. It's easy just to think, okay, what's next? What's the next goal? And then I got sick. I ended up, getting COVID, and I was out for like 3 weeks. And I was online, and I'm seeing everybody, running with this ball and the momentum going, and everyone's, I had a little bit of FOMO, like, wow, everyone's cranking and I'm here sick and I can't do anything. And then so my being shifted from this beautiful flow and just being this conduit and allowing, flow to just come through me, allowing the spirit and allowing many miracles to happen, to when I got sick, I felt like I went back to my old hustle mode. Like, I have to make something happen, right? And the more that I tried to do that, the more things weren't happening. So, my very wise coach, Philip Leach, he says, well, just can you go back to what it was like when you were creating the event? What was that like? Oh, I was just surrendered. I was open. I was in flow. I just trusted that whatever's for me is going to come to me, and whatever door is open, I'm going to walk through. And he said, well, why don't you just go back to that? Kind of easier said than done, right? But I'm telling you, I shifted and things started happening. And so the biggest thing I learned is, you can stay in that flow. And I think we see that in the example of Steve and so many others. So that was the big thing that I've learned, is how do I stay in that flow of surrender and trust, of being, of not having to do, but just to be. And that's such a beautiful thing that I think we're all learning in this group and with the book.
Do you feel like you're the same person before you took on the event, or do you feel like you're a different person now?
Oh, 100% different person. I even posted today on my Facebook page is that, uh, when you do something like this, you evolve so much that you have to reintroduce yourself to your friends and family because they don't even recognize you. And that's literally what it's been like. Alyssa was with me, we went home to see my mom and my sisters, and they're just looking at me like, who are you? What happened? Because the growth is exponential. It's not even this like incremental growth, it's exponential. And it's when you take action and when you have that inspired thought and instant action, that's when magic happens and miracles happen, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Now I know that your husband's on the line, and I don't want to get personal about anything, but is there anything that you can share that's shifted in your relationship with your husband, or anything you've noticed about that? Because I know he was there, running the technology at the event, and we were at that speaker meeting at Steve's house. And so he was like right in there with you. Anything about that you'd like to share?
Absolutely. I mean, I just posted this on Facebook in our page the other day. We were away on vacation. We were at Disneyland for spring break, and realizing that we just have these stories all the time, or I do. I have these stories running all the time, and it's crazy, and it's so easy to change those stories in the moment. And when you change those stories, you change your being in the moment. So I think I posted on there, he was, it was hot, we were tired, we were hangry, it was a long day, and he's calling my name, I couldn't hear him. So finally he's like tapping me on the back. And my story was, oh my gosh, he's so annoyed with me. What's wrong with him? He's being so mean and so unloving. And from a little tap, I had conjured up this whole story of he has this bad attitude, right? And I even said it out loud. I said, honey, I'm going to create the story that you're tapping me because you love me and you want to connect with me, and you're being so kind. So it became this running joke the whole weekend, is whenever something would happen that I would normally be irritated by or have a story, we would say, hey, let's create a different story. And it just became this game. And by the end of it, we had a little date at the beach. We got to connect. We got to brainstorm and dream up some big dreams that we're going to be doing together. And, we've been married 25 years. So for that to happen, pretty quickly is amazing. So saved us a lot of money for marriage counseling and therapy.
Yeah.
Just shifting our being and shifting our thoughts.
Yeah, I've had similar experiences with my wife. We've been married now a little over 6 years. And there's just, I think what's happened for me, Steve talks about seeing the gold in others. And he talked about that at the Ultimate Experience. And that was a big point that he made. And he's like, some of you out there are creating me as a jerk, right? Or whatever. And so that's just how you're making me up. And he was talking about seeing the gold in others. And I took that on as, especially with my wife. And I started going into a place of even higher level of gratitude. Like I was already in a place of gratitude, but even higher level of gratitude, and just being like, almost like in awe. It's like, wow, I get to have this amazing wife of mine, and to be that like the majority of the time, and not in complaint and not in story, and just to be grateful. And it's really amazing, these little subtle shifts in being and what it can mean. And I, prior to the book, I had never even heard of the concept of being. And I've done all kinds of personal development work for years. I mean, anybody that's watching this live right now, I mean, you're probably like Judy and I, you love personal development, you love learning. Yeah. I never even heard of being as an idea. And so now I'm just like a couple months into it now, 4 months, and it's pretty amazing. We have a few more minutes before we open up the call and allow our people watching on Zoom to join the show and be a part of the show. Is there anything that you'd like to share? I'm just going to kind of open it up for you to express anything you want to express about anything.
Yes, actually, I want to take this time to share about today's prompt on forgiveness and resentment. And I had this thought in the morning, and I thought, well, I'm not going to share that because it's a little too personal, a little too vulnerable. I'm not ready for that. And then I got on a call with Louisa, and then she challenged me. She said, you have to share that. That's going to help so many people. And I said, I don't know. But, I will share it because it is in the context of two things can be true. Three things can be true, right? Steve talked about this at the Ultimate Experience. And so this morning I was thinking about an instance that happened, when I was 5, I was sexually assaulted, abused by a family member from the age 5 to 15. And by 15, I had run away from home. I was trying to just do whatever I can to get out of there. So fast forward, as an adult and being married, my husband and I remember getting the call that this person was very sick with cancer. And I didn't know how I was going to respond to this, right? When I look at the trajectory of his life, there's nothing that I could do that would make his life worse than it is. Just the choices that he made just put him in a place where complete, just sadness and chaos. And so when I got that call, I was shocked that my response was empathy and compassion. I mean, I had to pull off the road and just cry because two things are true. He abused me. It was a horrible situation, but he's also family. And I still had love for him. And we're not taught that, right? We're taught everything's got to be black or white.
Yeah.
And so this concept of two things can be true was really something I was wrestling with this morning. So during that time, I had a mentor who modeled being in a way that was so powerful. She had been molested and abused by her own father for many, many years. And then fast forward, a few years ago, he was found in a motel room, dead for days, and nobody found him. He was totally alone, died alone. Nobody found him. And she ended up paying for a proper burial for her dad who molested her.
Oh, wow.
Because she wanted him to have a dignified, burial.
Yeah.
And that example of being helped me to, when we got the call that this person had cancer, my husband and I actually, paid for his cancer treatments, the person that. And so when we talk about forgiveness, it's like, it's one thing to just say, I forgive you, but are we at a place where we can say, I not only forgive you, but I can bless you? Like, that's a whole other layer and level. It's supernatural, right? Because we're not, I don't think we're naturally built that way, but I think that's why being is so important, because we are able to see other people's example, and it just calls us, inspires us as role models of what is possible, what kind of love is possible in this world. And so I wanted to share that. I know it's heavy, but I really feel like it was something that I wanted to share.
Yeah, well, I appreciate your vulnerability. And I'm sure that there's many people that are watching us right now on Facebook or the recording or here on Zoom. And they're really taking in what you said, because it's almost like somebody does something to us and we're supposed to feel a certain way because they wronged us. And then to be open to this other way, this other possibility. And, that's a piece of what I was faced with this situation with my dad. And it wasn't as heavy as what you're describing, but there was some things where I felt like I really got wronged. And then I thought, well, do I want my dad to pass away and we're going to be in disagreement and that's how it's going to end? My dad's 82. And I thought, you know what? No. And it's not about, we don't even have to resolve whatever the issue is. And so I just, we still haven't even talked about it. We probably never will, but my dad will call me, every week or so, and he loves me. I love him back. Yeah. And it's the same kind of thing. It's different, but it's the same. And it's a challenge when we have been wronged. I mean, you were wronged at, an extreme level. Not mine wasn't the same as that, but when we take a position, that really complicates it. So I really appreciate you sharing that idea that, there can be two different ways that you can approach it, and having the grace and for what your husband was willing to do to help out with the cancer treatment. So Judy, thank you for that vulnerable share and for your awesome example of beingness and for taking on the ultimate experience. To your point, like I can relate in the sense that I don't even know, like, starting the Facebook group, like what all this is unleashing. It's hard for me to wrap my head around it. I just keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm just creating the space for people. But it is a little overwhelming to think about the kind of impact that's happening out of our beingness and the actions and showing up as courage. And mine doing the Facebook group is not so much courage, but it's commitment. It's a commitment. So thank you for that awesome share.
Thank you. And I want to acknowledge you because I've watched you grow even in this short few months that we've been together, in your acknowledgement, your heart, your love. And, if it wasn't for this group, I wouldn't have, I have best friends that I've met in this group, like best friends that, some of them I've never even seen in person, but I consider and Lindsay I get to see every week now. So it's awesome. But we wouldn't have these relationships if it wasn't for you making this commitment. So thank you. And I want to acknowledge you for the difference that you're making. So
you're welcome. Just today, in addition to connecting with you right now, Casey and we had a connection, and Ross and I did. So like my day, majority of my day was one-on-one time with people from the Ultimate Coach group. And so it's pretty amazing how, there's all these relationships that have formed. And one of the cool things about the group is, like, it attracts like the most extraordinary people on Facebook, like loving, personal development minded people that are into, it's just a special place. So what I want to do now, I want to pivot, and those of you that are on Zoom, you guys are going to get to join in the show. So I'm going to take Judy and I off of Spotlight. So let me see if I can figure out how to, there we go, remove me off Spotlight. And I'm going to put us into gallery view so I can see you guys all in one. Let's see here. How do I do that? Gallery view. There we go. I'm okay. I can see everybody. So what we're going to do now is we're going to give everybody the opportunity to join the show and share about what's happening with you with being. If you have something you want to share that you're learning, if you've had something happen in your life that you want to express, and if you want to share, you can hit the virtual hand raise button. That's one of the features in Zoom, or you can do it the old-fashioned way. Is there anybody who would like to come on out and join the show and be a part of it? If so, hit the virtual hand raise button, or just do it the old-fashioned way, and we'll have you come out and join us. Anybody want to join?
Shy all of a sudden. I know. Alyssa.
Okay, Alyssa, and then Lindsay. Alyssa, go ahead.
Yay. Yes, I just wanted to thank you, Erik, for doing this and hosting the Facebook group. And thank you, Judy, my beautiful, beautiful friend, who hosted me for 5 days. And that was like the projectile for me. So me staying with her and her family, I got to have this different family life modeled to me by her and her beautiful family. And I was just in awe of it. And that then set me with who I was being, and then my intention. And now I'm staying with Nick, and this is like my 6th or 7th day with someone different. And I'm having all these amazing experiences just by who I'm being and what's being reflected back to me. And it's been extraordinary.
Fantastic. Alyssa, thank you for sharing.
No worries.
Lindsay, you're up next. You want to share tonight?
So good.
Yeah, sorry, I needed to move to where there was some light and no child. Hold on one second. Let me turn off her
Okay.
sound here. Yeah, I'm overwhelmed at the moment. My love for Judy is profound. So I'll start first with the ultimate experience and what I gained from that. And just being in the presence of everybody was so incredible, life-changing. And Judy has seen things in me prior to me seeing them in me. And she sees the leader in me. And we were at the event. I asked her, how I could support her. It was after the event. And there was a line of people wanting to talk to Steve. And she's like, we need to get him over to the VIP place. We need to get him over there to be able to go meet and greet with them. And she saw me and as a leader and asked me to step up in that way. And it was an opportunity for me to be with Steve in a way that I hadn't before. And it was incredible. And I was able to usher him to his car with all these gifts and have some actual conversation one-on-one with him. And I was able to express to him in not a rushed time, not this feeling there's all these people behind me or whatever, how the book of being, who he's been, who Amy's been, has radically transformed my marriage, radically transformed my home. And I was able to express that to him in a way I don't know if I would have been able to, outside of her asking me to step up as a leader and get, escort him to the restaurant. And then from there, Steve prompted me and asked me to submit a story so that it could go into the extras. And so that was just an incredible experience. And now, my story, Casey's story, is immortalized in the extras, which is awesome. But outside of that, so many things have happened for us, and I share that all the time. So I know everyone here knows. But I think one of the greatest gifts is my relationship with Judy. It's the way that she, speaks life into me. I get to work with her every week now. And every time I'm with her, I'm inspired. And tonight I knew I was going to be inspired. And Judy, you sharing your story around forgiveness, the part where you said that, can we forgive people, but can we get to the point of blessing them? That's massive. That moved me in huge ways. And it's an area where I want to be that too. I want to be that too. And I'm just so grateful for you. You make me believe that I can do anything. And I know that you make a lot of other people feel the same way. And it literally makes me feel superhuman being with you. And I just love you. So that's all.
Awesome. Thank you, Lindsay. That was a beautiful share. Casey, does your daughter want to speak?
Yeah.
What do you want to say? I just wanted to pop on and quickly acknowledge both of you two. It's hard to think in this house at this moment of two people that have had a greater impact in this household. And we truly appreciate both of you more than we can ever tell you. And thank you for sharing tonight, Judy, and Erik, great call today, and thank you for everything you gave me. And we just love you guys. You want to say bye?
Bye.
Awesome. Casey, thank you for the beautiful share. All right. who else would like to share? If you want to hit the virtual hand raise button, that lets me know you'd like to come on up. Portia, your turn.
I just want to say I appreciate this community because it's helped me grow leaps and bounds, just letting go of anger and allowing myself to love. And it's helped me just really just stretch a little bit more and a little bit more. And I also want to just acknowledge Judy just for the amazing experience she gave me, just to kind of help me see something about just having closure with an experience that happened with my mother. And she gave me a fresh new perspective and a way to look at that. So I really appreciate your work in that regard. And I also want to acknowledge you, Erik, for just this amazing space that you've created, and just to see how far it's gone and what it's doing in people's lives and what it's making available is profound and amazing. So thank you guys both.
Thank you, Portia. I appreciate the kind words. And I always enjoy spending time with you, Portia. You and I have had a couple of phone calls, and I just like you as a human being, just you being you. So thank you for your lovely share. All right. Is there anybody else that wants to come on out and be a part of the show tonight and share what's in your heart or what you're experiencing? If so, just hit the virtual hand raise button, or you can just do it the old fashioned way. Anybody else want to come out and share? Okay, Andrea.
I'm going to cry. That's all. I just want to say I love you guys so much, and thank you. I want to acknowledge Judy for who she is and what she's given us. And for just being the conduit of flow and listening to that urge and taking action, and miracles are happening like every day. And wow, it's like, wow, like I'm just blown away. My mind, my heart, everything is wide open, and I'm so grateful to you, Judy, and for everything. And yeah, there's as you know, there was that miracle that came through you and through Steve and through Alan. So it's kind of like everyone listened to their urge, their intuition, and they took action and they trusted that. So hearing the whispers of that, and yeah, there's a connection with 1111 and Townsend and Philip saying, listen to your urge, take action. So since the event, everything is actually leading up to the event and the event itself, everything has been about creating possibility. Who can I be now? What can, what's possible? And it's really like there's no top on the mountain for us now, because we get to create. And I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Erik, for creating this space and listening to that, and your commitment. You're like, that, and what else? The relationship with everything is expanding. It's not just us. It's like flowing over into all our life, our relationship. And yeah, just today we bought a business class ticket instead of an economy ticket to Europe, to see like Martin's parents. And it was like, yeah, coming from an expansive, abundant place, not like, oh, we're gonna create that because we're powerful and we're abundant, not like we need to, be limited. So this is all about being unlimited and taking the any limits, just just I don't know. I've just got too much to say. So I just so grateful. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Beautiful share. Who else would like to share tonight?
In the chat, there's a Mike Robinson that wanted to share.
Mike, come on out and share.
Hello, blessings to all. Mr. Erik, I've followed you for many years, and you're one of the most giving, the most being person that I've had the pleasure to hear. And every morning you are faithful, and your routines are beautiful. So I just wanted to give you props, and there's thousands of people that love you so much too. On the book, The Ultimate Coach, it was a game changer for me. I've never, well, not, let me say never, but it's been a long time since I read a book that was over 400 plus pages long. And when I first dove in about it, it was talking about a book about being, and it was a book about me. After I totally went about halfway through it, I knew who I was, and all these questions about who am I being a leader? Who do I need to be to have miracles show up in my daily life? And I wanted to share a miracle that happened about 5 days ago at a facility. And it was a large facility. And I saw this older man walking out of this facility, and he was like on a mission. And for some reason, I felt my intuition, my divine intuition, that I would see him again. But there was no hurries for me to impact him right then. But after we got done with finished up with dinner, I came back out. We were out on our way, and he was right there. To make a long story short, he was on his phone trying to call an Uber, and he thought the Uber was on his way. And come to find out, he didn't know how to work the phone, so the Uber wasn't calling. So I stepped in and with divine intervention and helped him get hit to his destiny. But that was just a little miracle that popped up. We all have miracles each and every day. Sometimes we don't see them, but I believe in a million little miracles. A miracle could be a huge miracle, but anyway, I'm so thankful for you, Erik, for putting this Facebook group together, and so we can learn from each other, love on each other, and it's just unconditional. That's what's so beautiful about it. My thoughts. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for the kind words and for your sharing and for helping that individual who needed that ride, and you stepped up and you helped him. That's beautiful. Ayub, come on out and share.
Yes. Hello, everyone. So I made it a habit to show up every week to this Tuesday weekly meeting, because every time I come here, there are new insights for me. And I want to thank you all, and want to thank you, Judy. I have 2 insights that I want to crystallize right now, because they're so applicable to my life. The first, when Lindsay said, forgive plus bless, like the extra step. But then the other one, that insight that came, you need to reintroduce yourself to your family and your friends. And it's funny, like I received a text from a friend who didn't talk to for 6 years. He was apologizing, and he said that you haven't done anything to me. And I forgave him a long time ago. But I was talking to my sister about it, and she said, oh, he's back because he see you happy and successful. And I'm saying, but I can see a way I can serve him. She was like, oh, that's different. So these 2 insights, I basically what I'm gonna go and do next. And as a note, Steve sent me an audio about forgiveness. So the next thing I'm gonna do plus these 2 steps is to create a video and upload it in our groups and Instagram, so everybody can listen to it. Thank you again, and I'm happy to be immersed in this great energy around you every Tuesday.
Awesome, Ayub. Thank you for sharing.
Okay.
One thing, Ayub and we had a call the other night, and he shared something with me that I want to share with you guys. Ayub and Sarah are the leaders of the Instagram for the Ultimate Coach. Steve asked me if I would start an Instagram, and I said yes, because you just kind of say yes when Steve asks you to do something. And I don't really know anything about Instagram. So I said yes, and then I asked for help. So Ayub and Sarah, they're brilliant with Instagram. And Ayub said something to me about that he was the admin of the Instagram. And I said, no, Ayub, you're the leader. You're not the admin. And so I created him as the leader. And so I just want to plant that seed for all of you when you're interacting with people and you create people that can expand their thinking and because Ayub he is the leader. It wasn't just me creating him as that, he is that. But by me communicating, it's like, oh, that's who I am. And so, we can all do that. We can all be like Steve, and we can create people like that in our own way. And Ayub, I do want to acknowledge you for the leader of our Instagram. You're reaching a lot of people and making a difference in a very powerful way. Did you want to share something else?
Yeah, I want to say thank you for creating that. And I shared this with Erik, that the day he declared, that shifted a lot of things in me. And I went outside, and anything I am playing small on, any knowledge I have, I'm sharing it with confidence, and I'm going there and I'm leading myself and others. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome, Ayub. Thank you. We have a few more minutes. Is there anybody that would like to share? You just hit the virtual hand raise button, or can do it the old fashioned way. Anybody else want to come on out and share? Anybody else? Okay,
I can't find the little hand because I'm using my phone. Sorry.
No problem. Julie, go ahead. It's your turn.
Yeah, I just want to say that really the being of part of a team. So being part of the Fantastic Four, we looked to Judy because she really set that tone, that energetically it was going to be a space of love. And I've, been talking with friends that are going to the London event, and we wish them the kindest and most wonderful event. And I'm so grateful that when I reflect back on our experience, that really we had permission to be vulnerable, and we had permission to just show up exactly as we were being. And then I saw the people that were attending, that they picked up on that. And I mean, I have such gratitude for Judy that she gave us the permission to, there's no mistakes. It's just, as you are, you're going to have love, you're going to have this experience. So I'm just really grateful, remembering and continuing on as a team with Judy. It's so amazing.
Awesome. Julie, thank you for your share. Noraline, and then Erik.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the chance to share. Thank you, Judy, Erik, for your heart's creation. So I went to an event for 5 days, I guess 1 week in San Diego. And then I tried to practice, I remember Judy saying she had a friend in an airplane. So I said, okay, I'm going to be the most friendly person, So my seatmate, it's just amazing how we connect and how she opened up everything. And I was like, wow. So I was like, this is really what they're saying, that if you're just being you, and you never know the other person is also being themselves. And it's so beautiful and so powerful. And we became friends, and we contacted, and she's from Virginia. And then had a great breakthroughs. And also when I went back, I made sure and my seatmate will feel that I'm friendly as well, you know? So I made another friends going back home. And we also like I learned so much from him, and then he learned so much from me as well, like a very different level of connection. And I was like, wow, this is really amazing. Like when you're just being yourself and people are being themselves too, you know? So that's so powerful. And I just want to share that because it's just amazing how we can, like, just like what Erik said, like seeing the gold in people, it really shifted my perspective. Even in the event, I look at people differently. Like, wow, what is in them? That they're more than their physical appearance, you know, like their experiences, their the stories, what challenges they have overcome. And it really inspired me to, you know, like to have compassion, to have and to even acknowledge their presence, their beauty. And yeah, thank you so much for the space in the Ultimate Facebook group. I said I'm gonna be more active in the group because there's so much insight, just like what I was sharing. It's a lot of insights. And Judy invited me tonight. And I was like, God, this is another level of growth, you know, like learning from all of you. Yeah, thank you so much for everything.
Awesome. So Noraline, I have a challenge for you.
Yes.
So here's the challenge. I want you to post in the group once a day for 1 month.
Okay.
Okay?
Once a day.
Once a day for 1 month.
Okay.
Okay, Noraline, thank you. I'm looking for your posts.
Thank you.
All right. Erik, did you want to come on out and share?
There we go. All right. Is that working?
Yes.
All right, cool. First, let me say this. I'm so grateful, Erik, that you extended yourself, that you're committed, that you continue to show up, the consistency in which you do so, and the sacrifice that you make for your time to show up for people and do this thing. And it's making a huge difference. Super grateful for that. You're definitely somebody who's worthy of imitation in your character and your example. And obviously I love my wife and she's awesome. And but just seeing her growth from like the front row in the last couple years, from just the investment that she's made in herself. And you know, I think a lot of times we can invest in ourselves to level up, to climb the ladder, to change our financial picture. And you know, those are all self-serving motivations for doing so. But yet instead she's leveled up to serve others. And the way that she serves others with compassion, with grace, with love, without judgment, and she's just amazing. And I'm super grateful that I get to be as close proximity with her as I do. But what I wanted to share in the group was, you know, I read the quote that John Rohn, you know, talks about, you know, that you become like the closest to your 5 closest people that you spend time with. You become most like them. And then I watched another video from Chris Do, who said that he doesn't have any old friends because he's continuing to grow. And not that he's throwing friends away, but the growth that he has puts him in a different sphere, puts him in a different community. And I'm so grateful for this community because it's a new community, but it's a new community of growth. And the people that show up are consistent. They challenge me to grow. They challenge me in my being. I had an interaction today where I really start to embrace, and Judy's helped me to really start to embrace the gifts that I have. And I wanted to share some wisdom that that God had put on my heart in a meeting today. And it got shut down. And the guy that was leading the meeting kind of overstepped and kind of shut me down and had a different idea about it. And in that moment, I think before I would have gotten offended, or I would have gotten a little bitter or upset, or I would have questioned my being. I would have questioned whether or not, okay, maybe the wisdom that I wanted to share, that I was prompted to share, wasn't worthy, or it wasn't of value. And I walked away from that meeting not bitter and not devaluing myself. And I think a big reason for that is because of this community. Like, I realized that maybe what I had to share wasn't accepted, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't of value. In a different environment, in a different, community, it was in that particular setting. And the second part of that was I wasn't bitter. I wasn't upset that he shut it down. And so, I think that I'm very grateful, because I can see growth, my own personal growth in that example. And that just happened today. And so I felt compelled to share. So.
Awesome. Thank you for the share, Erik. And that will be our final share of the night. I do want to make a couple comments, though, about the share, because it was a really beautiful share. And in what Erik expressed is, in an earlier meeting, his ideas were not embraced. And in this meeting, those ideas are embraced and those ideas are loved. And I think in my experience, not everybody sees me. In this setting, I got acknowledged in a beautiful way, and you guys said some amazing things about me, which I greatly appreciate. And out in the real world, I'm not seen by some people in that way, including in my own family. So it's really nice that we have a space here where we can see each other and acknowledge our greatness. And Erik, you had some really powerful insights, and it was really beautiful to watch how you acknowledged your wife. So thank you for your share. And my vision behind this weekly show was to create a space where we could have somebody be a powerful interview, which tonight was Judy. And then the second half of the show, you guys get to be in the show. And I love that, because in the Facebook group, we're sharing, or you can do a Facebook Live, but it's different, where you all got to be like Judy. You got to be in the show. You got to express yourself and share your wins and your miracles. So I want to acknowledge you for showing up tonight. I believe if we all keep working on our being, it's just a wonderful thing to help us and help our families and our companies and our communities, and also help our group as well. So thank you all for joining me this evening. Judy, thank you for your fantastic share and for your courage that created all that's happening right now. It's wonderful. And thank you all for sharing. And that's going to wrap up our session. Look forward next time we connect. Talk to y'all later. Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.